to a tractor show, there's all kinds of characters that you're probably going to meet. Some you might know, some you might want to know. Mike Hood, from right here in Iowa, you are the classic tractor calendar photographer for a lot of years now. How long have you been interested in tractors?
I've been interested in tractors since I was a little child. I sometimes tell people I think I was born under an F-20 farm haul. You know, they talk about ducks and geese imprinting on humans. I think I imprinted on tractors when I was about 4 years old. I love them.
And you have seen a lot of tractors in your time. For 29 years, John Harvey has done the Classic Farm Tractors Calendar. The 29th edition is out in 2018. What got you started photographing tractors for calendars?
John Harvey and I were friends and knew each other perhaps for 40 years. Not quite that long when he called me and asked me to go photograph a tractor for him. So that's when I first got started with him. He couldn't get people to do them in the snow, and I was glad to go out in the cold. I kind of got a reputation for being the snow guy. And from there, I began to do a little more and a little more. I've enjoyed it for many years. Brian, I know you do too.
So when you go to photograph a tractor, Mike, what's in your mind? You know, the photographs on the calendar end up on farm offices and walls all across the country. What are you thinking when you're snapping that photo?
It kind of depends on the tractor and the conditions. You know, sometimes we get in a situation where the scene is so beautiful that the tractor's important, but the scene becomes equally important. And then you strive to get all of that captured. Other times you have a rare tractor and you're trying to show some specific things. Make sure that those show up in the photo because it's an unusual tractor that people haven't seen. It varies from tractor to tractor.
And I think when I look at classic tractors, there's something to like about all of them, isn't it? Even if you're a John Deere guy or you're a Ford guy or you're a Case guy, there's something to like about just about every classic tractor out there.
Indeed there is. And here we are in the midst of 600, 700 Case tractors, and each one has a little story, some more than others. I've owned a tractor just like this one, like this S Case here in the background, and I bought the first one I ever saw, but I'd never seen an S. They had quit making those by the time I was 13 or 14, so when I saw a tractor like this, I thought I had to have that. In fact, I bought two of them and hauled them back to Spirit Lake, Iowa. And this one's a wonderful example. It's a standard tread of the famous SC, and very rare here in the Corn Belt where we are today.
What do you think it was about Case in the 1940s, 50s, 60s? Case tractors just really stood out.
Case tractors were extremely tough. They were a little, some might say they're crude, and indeed they weren't quite as advanced in some ways. They were a leader in toughness. For instance, you'll almost never see the rear end of a Case tractor that's been cannibalized at a wrecking yard because nobody needs the parts. They're so tough, they just stay whole. The engines may go away and the radiator and the muffler and lots of parts and pieces, the tires and the wheels, but the rear end will be there. That's one of the things they had. They just had a good all-around tractor. But they weren't as fast as a Farmall. They didn't have the marketing of the John Deere group, so they didn't become quite as popular. But later here we're seeing all these two-tones. That's two different colors that they used on Cases, and these tractors had a wonderful reputation. And the guys that are here today are really proud of all these beautiful tractors we have.
So Mike, I got to ask you, which came first, classic tractor fever for you or the calendar work, or is it all wrapped up into one, you can't hardly separate it?
I'll tell you a little story. I was an editor at Successful Farming for many years, and I wanted to do an article to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the H and the M Farm Law. I put a very small article, only about 3 inches, that went to 12 states, and I got 200 letters that were indeed they were love letters to the M and H Farm Law. I think it may have influenced John, I'm not sure. One of the tractors that I had in that article became the H Farmall that was on the very first calendar. We had talked about it, and it was a good choice. The family, 5 generations, had learned to drive on that one H Farmall tractor. I don't know which came first. Okay.
All right, Mike Hood, we could talk all day sharing tractor stories. Thanks for the work you've done for the Classic Farm Tractor Calendar for so many years.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you here today, Brian.
All right, Mike Hood, he's a photographer, he's a tractor collector, and he's a card-carrying member with Classic Tractor Fever. Hey, thanks for catching Classic Tractor Fever. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel right here on YouTube. You can also find even more videos and branded merchandise over on our website, ClassicTractorsTV.com. Now don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button.